Up next is the tip of the week. This is when we show you a trick or two on how to use a certain feature on your phone or within a given app. And now for this week's episode, here's your tip of the week. And now to close this week's episode, here's a tip of the week. And with that, we will be closing this episode. Hi, for episode 184 tip of the week, this is demonstrating how you go about adding your medical info on your Galaxy phone. We have demonstrated or discussed this section found in the system settings. However, we didn't go into how you could add the medical info onto your lock screen. This is what this tip of the week is all about. For this demonstration, I'll be utilizing the Galaxy S23 Plus running One UI 6.1 and Android Accessibility Suite 14.x. I am in the system settings, and the item we're looking for is found in the safety, emergency, medical info, etc., etc. That item is found just below the location area. I'll now move my finger to that item, and this is what I'm talking about.
Safety and emergency. Medical info. Wireless emergency alerts. 16 of 28.
We go ahead and tap here.
Safety and emergency. Navigate up. Button. Out of list.
Now, the item we need to find is the one that talks about medical info. That's the first item in this list.
Medical info. 1 of 10.
Here's medical info. We tap.
Add your medical info. By default, the medical information you add will be available from the lock screen. This makes it available to first responders in an emergency, but it also means that anyone can view it without unlocking your phone. You can choose not to make your medical information available on the lock screen in the medical info settings. Samsung won't store or access your medical info. Out of list.
In other words, if you add this to your lock screen, then it means anyone that takes your phone and unlocks the screen would be able to see your medical information. So it's totally up to you. Samsung, on the other hand, does not access this information. At the bottom of it, though, is the Continue button, and I'll tap on Continue. I'll be giving just an example of how you go about adding this. It's not going to be my medical information by any imagination. So now I'll tap on Continue.
Confirm button.
There's a confirm rather, not continue.
Medical info. Navigate up button.
That's the description of this area, and now let's go ahead and look at what we have. Starting from the very top, just below the navigate to tab and all of that, here's what we got.
Record your allergies, current medication, and other medical information so it's available in an emergency.
And then the next heading.
Name header, heading.
And your name.
Enter your name, edit box.
You could type your full name in there, or below that you could tap on
Show detailed name fields, button.
Show detailed name fields where you could tap in, and it has lines for first name and last name. But as I indicated, if you like, you could just type your whole name in that first edit field. Next.
Medical conditions header, heading.
This is talking about the medical conditions. You may have some medical conditions, and below that is the field that you type in your medical conditions.
List your medical conditions, edit box.
Moving on.
Blood type header, heading.
We now come across the blood type and where you could choose your blood type, and we have a button here that you could tap below here to select your blood type. Here's what I'm talking about.
Tap to select blood type, button.
And we tap.
Blood type, checked, not set, in list.
We have not set, and below that we have different blood types we've got.
O plus, O, A plus, A, B plus, B, AB plus, AB.
And
cancel, button, out of
we got
list.
cancel there on the bottom left, and to the right
OK, button.
is the OK button after you've chosen your blood type. Now let's go back.
Medical info. Tap to select blood type, button.
Moving on, we come to the header for.
Allergies header, heading.
In other words, if you have some allergies, then below here is a field where you could type in those allergies. Here's what we got.
List your allergies, edit box.
Next header.
Current medications header, heading.
In other words, if you have any current medications you're taking, you need to list those below here.
List any medication you take, edit box.
Moving on,
Weight header, heading.
we come across as to how much you weigh, and below that,
Tap to set weight, button.
this is a button that you tap on and you go choose your weight. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Set weight, 142, button, pounds.
Depending on the system that you're using, if you're using the matrix system or you're using the imperial, then the default is going to be whatever system you're using. In my case, because I'm using the imperial, pounds is the default. So we have a 3-column here. On the left, you have the weight, like,
143, edit box, pounds.
and then to the right of it, you have the point, maybe your 100 point something pounds.
2, button, pounds, decimal point.
That's the decimal point. And then to the right of it, we have 2 buttons. The first one up is
Kilogram, button.
kilograms, and below that
Selected, pounds.
is the pounds because my system is imperial. And at the bottom
Done, button.
is the done button, or to the left is that cancel.
Cancel, button.
I'm going to go back.
Medical info. Tap to set weight, button.
Moving on, we come across a header for
Height header, heading.
how tall you are, and also we have a button below that we could tap on to go choose our height. Here's what I'm talking about.
Tap to set height, button. Set height, 4, button, feet.
And just like the weight that we saw above, these two has a 3-column. Here's what I'm talking about. On the left,
5, edit box, feet.
so that's like 5 feet, and if you move your finger to the right,
6, edit box, inches.
that's 0.6 inch or whatever. And then to the right of that, the last column or the last row, I get those two mixed up columns and rows. The last column we've got,
cm, button.
and below that,
Selected, feet and inches.
feet and inches, and that's the default. And then below that we have the done
Done, button.
or cancel on the left.
Cancel, button.
I'm going to go back.
Medical info. Tap to set height, button.
Next, we come to the header for,
Date of birth header, heading.
and below that we also have a button.
Tap to set date, button. June, button, month.
And here, just like what we have 3 columns. On the left, you have the month. In the middle, you have the day. And on the right, you have the year. Now, I do want to mention here in passing that you can scroll each section without scrolling the whole thing. In other words, let's say I want to scroll the year and I want to scroll that down to
Year. 2014. Edit box. Year. 1992. Edit box. Year.
You see what I mean? And that doesn't affect the middle and left columns. Like on the left, I got either
June. Edit box. Month.
and then in the middle,
12. 13. Button.
you
12.
got
Edit box.
the day. And
Hey.
if you're in some other part of the world, then on the left, it will be the day and then the month in the middle and then the year on the right column. Let's go back.
Medical info. Tap to set date, button.
Moving on,
Address header, heading.
we come to the place where you type your address, and below that is an edit field.
Enter your address, edit box.
Moving on.
Organ donor header, heading.
Now, this section has to do with those that have decided upon my passing away or something happens, I would like to have my organs donated, and that's what this is all about. And below that,
Tap to set status button.
you tap to set the status, whether you're a donor or you're not a donor. You got either yes or no. Here's what I'm talking about.
Organ donor. Checked. Not set. In list.
And below that,
Yes.
there's a yes, and then
No.
no, and at the bottom left,
Cancel. Button.
And to the
Out
right
of list. OK.
is
Button.
the OK button.
Medical info. Tap to set status button.
Moving on.
Medical notes header. Heading.
This is where you put some notes in the edit field below. For example, if there are certain things you would like the first responders to be aware of, then you'll type that info below here.
Enter other important info. Edit box.
Moving on.
Cancel. Button. Enter other important info. Edit box.
And that would be it, because below that you have
Cancel. Button.
on the left and to the right
Save. Button.
is the save button. Now, when you save this, what that means is that it will be available on your lock screen. So if anyone unlocks your screen, they'll be able to see your medical info. Now, if you don't want to show it, then after you save it, then you go back to the medical info and scroll toward the bottom. And there at the bottom, you're going to find where it says, do not show on the lock screen. You can also choose to tap on the edit at the top after you've saved it, and you can edit things and remove things you don't want. And that's how you go about adding your medical info on your Galaxy phone. If you have any tip that you would like us to feature, let us know, and we'll try our best to do so. Thanks for listening.